Today's news cycle is dominated by a series of interconnected criticisms leveled against the United Kingdom and, to a broader extent, Europe. These critiques, voiced by influential figures like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and J.D. Vance, paint a concerning picture of the current state of affairs, touching on issues of free speech, radicalization, immigration, and national identity. The most immediate controversy revolves around Elon Musk's accusations against Keir Starmer, the leader of the UK Labour Party. Musk alleges that Starmer's threat to ban X, formerly Twitter, stems not from genuine concerns about AI-generated imagery, but from a desire to stifle free speech and silence criticism of his leadership. The specific trigger for Starmer's ire appears to be the use of AI image generators to create unflattering or satirical depictions of him, including images placing him in compromising situations. Musk argues that this response is hypocritical, given that other AI platforms like Google's Gemini and OpenAI's ChatGPT are capable of producing similar content, yet are not facing the same threat of censorship. Musk's perspective is that Starmer, and by extension the Labour Party, views X as a threat because it serves as a vital platform for open discourse and the dissemination of information, a modern-day town square where citizens can freely express their opinions and hold those in power accountable. He further suggests that Starmer is particularly sensitive to criticism due to his relatively low approval ratings, which, according to Musk, are even lower than those of controversial Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Musk has amplified his criticism by highlighting the UK's record on arresting individuals for online comments, labelling the country a prison island. This underscores his belief that the UK is becoming increasingly authoritarian in its approach to online speech, suppressing dissent under the guise of combating harmful content. The implications of this potential ban extend beyond the immediate impact on X users. It raises fundamental questions about the balance between freedom of expression and the regulation of online content, and the potential for governments to abuse their power to silence dissenting voices. If Starmer succeeds in banning X, it could set a dangerous precedent for other countries to follow, further eroding online freedoms and limiting the ability of citizens to engage in open and uncensored dialogue. However, the concerns surrounding the UK are not limited to the realm of online speech. A far more alarming development has emerged with the news that the United Arab Emirates, UAE, has reportedly decided to cut funding for its citizens to study in the UK, citing fears of radicalization by Muslim Brotherhood Islamists on British university campuses. This decision reflects a deep-seated concern among some of the UK's closest allies in the Gulf region about the spread of extremist ideologies within British academic institutions. The UAE's move is a significant blow to the UK's reputation as a safe and welcoming destination for international students, and it raises serious questions about the effectiveness of efforts to counter extremism within the country. J.D. Vance, a prominent American political figure, has weighed in on the UAE's decision, describing it as an insane headline and suggesting that the West is increasingly perceived as a breeding ground for Islamist indoctrination. Vance's comments underscore the growing perception that certain parts of the Western world have become vulnerable to extremist ideologies, posing a threat not only to domestic security but also to international relations. This situation highlights the complex challenges facing the UK and other European countries in balancing their commitment to multiculturalism and religious freedom with the need to safeguard national security and prevent the spread of extremism. Adding to the sense of unease, former US President Donald Trump has issued yet another stark warning to Europe, focusing on the issues of immigration and demographic change. Trump has long been a vocal critic of European immigration policies, arguing that they have led to a decline in national identity and an increase in social unrest. He has repeatedly warned that Europe is losing its culture and that it needs to get its act together in order to preserve its unique heritage. Trump's comments, while often controversial, reflect a growing concern among some segments of the population about the impact of mass immigration on European societies. He specifically called out London as one of the unrecognizable places. These concerns are fueled by a sense that traditional European values and customs are being eroded by the influx of new cultures and ideologies. The rise of populism and nationalism across Europe is, in part, a response to these anxieties, as voters increasingly turn to political parties that promise to protect national borders and preserve traditional ways of life. The convergence of these three distinct but interconnected criticisms, Musk's concerns about free speech, the UAE's fears of radicalization, and Trump's warnings about immigration paints a disturbing picture of the UK and Europe as facing a multifaceted crisis of identity, security, and governance. The implications of these challenges are far-reaching, potentially impacting everything from international relations and economic stability to social cohesion and national security. Addressing these issues will require a nuanced and multifaceted approach, one that balances the need to protect fundamental freedoms with the imperative to safeguard national security and preserve cultural identity. It will also require open and honest dialogue, a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths, and a commitment to finding common ground across ideological divides. Failure to do so could lead to further fragmentation, instability, and a decline in the UK and Europe's standing on the world stage. The coming months and years will be critical in determining whether these challenges can be overcome, or whether they will continue to define the trajectory of the UK and Europe for decades to come. The world is watching, and the stakes are high.